Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel where it's all about racing. In this episode we're going to take a look at the Porsche 911 GT1, that won the 1998 24 Hours of Le Mans. Guys, this is actually the third model of this particular car that I have. The first one I purchased was an Onyx. It was the only one I could find at the time. It was relatively inexpensive. It was a really good model. Then I had the good fortune of picking up an HPI model that even had a removable rear cover so you could see the engine detail. Really, really neat. And when I got the opportunity to pick up this Spark model, which really is the jewel of the collection, even though I will admit, I think the HPI is a better model, obviously. Still, I had to have it. Anyhow, this particular car was designed by Norbert Singer and Tony Hatter, and it competed in the FIA GT1 class, which also required 20 street legal versions for homologation purposes, although only one was made for the 1998 model year, and was named the 911 GT1 Straben version or street version. Now this car, and if you could see the engine on it as you can with the HPI model, featured a 3.2-liter water-cooled M9680 flat six twin turbocharged mid-engine and featured a 6-speed sequential manual transmission. Now this car bore little resemblance to the previous versions of 1996 and 1997, and it had less downforce than the previous 2 years, which reduced its maximum speed to about 310 kilometers per hour or 193 miles per hour. However, in a test at Le Mans, it did 205. Now this car, the number 26 car, was the winning car at the 1998 24-hour Le Mans and was driven by three-time winner Alec McDish, Stefano Ortelli, and Laurent Aurelio. It was Porsche's 16th victory at the time, as well as its overall winner at Le Mans. And as you know, Porsche stepped out of the prototype business until, I believe it was 2022 when the Porsche 963s came out. Anyhow, so they have yet to win, as with the Porsche 963 has not won yet at the expense of Ferrari, which has won twice, and I think they were maybe beaten Toyota once as well. Anyhow, this car is currently on display at the Porsche Museum in Stuttgart. Now, if you remember, back in 1998, this livery was reproduced on the Porsche 911 at the Petit Le Mans in 2018. It is one of those iconic liveries that you just have to have. This particular car I have reviewed previously. This is a IXO model. I do not have a Spark version of this car yet, as I have not been able to find one. But anyhow, there you have it. Now, for those of you that noticed this had a plastic base, you know that means only one thing. Yes, this is part of the Porsche Dealership's limited edition collection, even though it bears no markings on it to tell you that it is limited edition. We know it is because that's what they basically say they are, but it doesn't have any documentation for it. It does come on this premium plastic base. Yes, you pay more for this than you would a standard Spark model for a larger acrylic jewel cover. This really cool closed-ended box, even though it is has virtually nothing on the tail sides of it. However, the rear of it does have a really cool picture of the car racing right there. And of course, it does have, I guess, some numbers referring to, I guess, the addition of this car or whatever. And the bottom has the usual Spark information that you typically see on the bottom of all of their cars. I guess now it's time to give you my thoughts on this car, and there's really not much to say about it. It's a Spark model. You know it's great. It's cool. It exudes detail, perfection. The finish is absolutely incredible. And that cannot always be said about white cars. Paint is very, very difficult to apply. It can fade. You can get too much of it. But this car looks really, really good. All of the livery graphic details are done exceptionally well. Decals applied are phenomenal. Guys, it looks really good. I mean, it is better than the Onyx model. However, because it doesn't have the rear opening, it's not quite as good as the HPI model. And because you have this plastic antenna and the HPI model gives you a metal one, I think that looks a little bit better. Also, if you take a look at the air scoop for that 3.2-liter engine we talked about, you can see the paint finish there is it's a little choppy. It's not great. It could be better. Otherwise, interior details on it are really exceptional. They're very hard to see through this smoked glass, which is really a shame because I'd love to show it to you in more detail. Headlights, front end, just really, really sharp. Guys, this car is gorgeous. Doesn't have a lot of carbon fiber trim detail, so to speak, but even if you notice, you took at the the headlights cover here. It's got really nice detail around that. I mean, this is the thing that Spark is known for. The air inlet here on the front, again, very, very nicely done. It is not quite as poorly done as the air intake over the engine was. Here's a cool look at the side of the car. You can see the names of the drivers on both sides of the doors on both cars. As I mentioned, interior detail is really good, even though it's kind of hard to see here. You can see some of the seatbelt detail. The blue is a sticker actually on the side of the window there, which I believe is SCCA. I could be wrong, kind of hard to see from here, even magnified. Well, guys, as you can tell, just really, really sharp. And there you do see some carbon fiber detail around the trim of the glasswork there. Well, it probably was glass back in those days. And if we take a look at the back of it here, there are some more air inlets for the engine. And again, they look good. They're not great. A little bit of sloppy paintwork around it, but not much. Not as noticeable as it is with other models. Guys, all of the liveries graphics are perfect. The decals on it are just exceptional. It looks really sharp. The back of it looks really, really good. I do like the silver taillights, which contrast from the black. I think that looks good and very realistic. Taillights are sharp. Take a look at the rear wing. Just very, very nicely done. And here's a cool aerial view of the car. God, I love that livery. I really do. It was really great to see it again at Le Mans in 2018. Yeah, folks, hope you've enjoyed it. That wraps it up. Thanks for watching, and see you next time on the channel where it's all about racing.